Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with transpiration affects climate. It has been shown experimentally that the plants give out large quantity of water during transpiration. A full-grown single sunflower plant estimated to lose about half a liter of water per day in the form of water vapor. A single maize plant loses about 2 liters of water per day. A large apple tree may lose about 30 liters of water per day. These figures give an idea of huge quantities of water released into the atmosphere by the vast stretch of fields and particularly forests. And the transpiration increases the moisture in the atmosphere, which brings rain. And in this way, transpiration from plants affects climate. And it is rightly said that forests contribute in bringing rain, and this is due to transpiration, because in forests large number of trees are there, and those trees lose water in the form of water vapor, which results in rain. Here are some differences between evaporation and transpiration. Number 1, evaporation is loss of water from the surface of the water bodies in the form of water vapor, while transpiration is the loss of water in the form of vapor from the aerial parts of the plant. Second, evaporation is a physical change controlled by temperature and humidity of the atmosphere, while transpiration is vital and partially a physical process controlled by both internal and external factors. Evaporation is a fast process and transpiration is a slow process. Next we come over to mutation and bleeding. Some plants may lose water or other fluids along with dissolved substances directly in liquid form and not as water vapor. This is known as exudation. To exude means to ooze or sweat out, and the fluid given out is known as the exudate. And it occurs in two ways. One is guttation and the other one is bleeding. And this guttation, the leaves of certain plants exhibit droplets of water along their margin in the morning, and this particularly happens in plants which are growing in warm, humid conditions. A humid environment hampers transpiration while the roots continue to absorb water from the soil, and this builds up a big hydrostatic pressure within the plant, which forces the excess of water directly from the tips of the veins in the leaves. And special pore-bearing structure called hydatodes are present on the margin of the leaf to allow the exudation. And guttation can be observed in many plants and is quite common in banana, nasturtium and strawberry. Next is bleeding, and this happens only due to the injury. The plant sap escapes from the ruptured or cut surfaces of the plant, and the root pressure generated by the plant assists in bleeding. So bleeding is caused due to root pressure. And some differences between guttation and bleeding are given. Guttation, it occurs from the edges of the leaves by the hydatodes in injured plants, while bleeding, it occurs from any cut or injured part of the plant. And this guttation is the exudate is mainly water and some dissolved mineral salts. And in case of bleeding, exudate is mainly plant sap and sugars. Guttation, it occurs during early morning or late nights, while bleeding, it occurs at the time of injury. Mutation, it happens in certain plants like banana, nasturtium, strawberry, While bleeding, it occurs in all plants that have been cut or injured. So this is about the lesson, and here we have a diagram which shows all the three types of transpirations, and mutation also has been shown. And please go through this diagram very nicely and keep in mind the labeling. You can be given such diagram and then you can be asked difference between, say, the cuticular transpiration and stomatal transpiration, and such questions, imbibition and osmosis. You can be asked such questions. Next we come over to the progress check. List any 4 advantages of transpiration to plants. One is cooling effect, another one ascent of sap, then the distribution of water and minerals, and fourth one is removal of excess of water from the plants. Then differentiate between guttation and transpiration. It's given on the next page, 64. And fourth one, plants have no blood, yet we sometimes say that a plant is bleeding. How do you justify this? So the answer to this is, yes, of course, these plants, they do not have blood, but we say it is the plants bleed. For example, a full-grown single sunflower plant is estimated to lose about, sorry, not this one. Yes, when a plant is injured, the plant sap escapes from the ruptured or cut surfaces of the plant. This is called bleeding, and the root pressure generated by a plant helps in bleeding. Thus, we sometimes say that a plant is bleeding, although plants have no blood.